What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video with me, Chasing Dopamine. It's Sunday today, so I really wanted to bring you a new set of videos. We're gonna call this r/Sundays. Every Sunday will be another Reddit video, so make sure to subscribe and ring that bell notification to never miss an upload. Also, be sure to like and comment to let me know what you think. Now, let's get into the stories. Today, the overarching theme is going to be one of these stories is not like the others. We have 4 people wondering, am I the a-hole? But only one can really be the a-hole. Who will reign supreme? Who will be the a-hole? And who will go home with their pride intact? Watch to the end to know who the a-hole is. First up, we have, am I the asshole for telling my kid he is welcome to move out if he has a problem with me eating his food? Okay, right off the bat, I immediately kind of want to say yes, but that's only because I have my own personal trauma with this, but we'll see where this guy's going. My son lives with me to save money while he is just starting out after college. He has a full-time job, which pays him rather well. He probably earns 1/3 of what I do, but I have been at my job a long time and I am not entry level. He helps out around the house and he helps his mom with errands and such. One of the things he helps out with is Costco runs. My wife likes to have him along because then he can do all the heavy lifting. I like when he goes because then I do not have to do the heavy lifting. I guess last time they went, he saw some instant ramen and added it to the cart. Not really a big deal. Yesterday I was up late and I was peckish, so I went into the kitchen and saw the ramen. There were 6 bowls, so I took one and made some up with cold roast chicken, fresh green onions, and a couple soft-boiled eggs. Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That's making me a little hungry, and now I need to make ramen. My son saw the bowl in the garbage and went off on me for eating his food. I thought he was joking, so I told him to psst off. But it turns out that he was serious. He was screaming at me over some $2 ramen. My wife heard our fight and came in to see what was up. She tried to placate him by saying she would go to Costco and get some more. This is when I find out the price is $12 for 6 bowls. I took out my wallet and tried to give him $2 for his bowl of food that I stole. My wife said that I was being ridiculous since she paid for them. I must admit that this set me off. The little butthead was yelling at me for eating food that I paid for. My wife does not work. When the kids were little, we decided that she would be a stay-at-home mom and I would work my butt off to provide. She worked amazingly hard to keep us up and running while I was starting out my career, and she deserves her time now. So when I say she does not work, I mean it. We have a lady who comes in and does the cleaning and laundry. My wife makes maybe 2 meals a week by her own choice. I pay a meal prep company for most of our meals, and I like to cook fresh food for myself and my family, as well as on the weekends. And quite obviously, we have easy cooked meals from the store. I asked him if he was really so petty that he was upset with me for eating something that I paid for. He said his mom bought it for him. I said that she used our money, not his, to pay for it. He said that didn't matter and that I should have asked. I could not take it anymore, and I said that he needed to move out and pay for his own stuff if he was going to be such an a-hole. At that point, he shut up, because I think he realized he messed up. He said he was sorry and that he did not mean it. He went to his room and shut the door. My wife said I was an a-hole to threaten him with kicking him out over some ramen. I said he was being disrespectful, and he was lucky I did not follow through. She is still mad at me, but my daughter, who is 6 years younger than my son, says that I am right and that she is always getting yelled at for touching his food, which I pay for. Let's read the first comment and then we'll get into my opinion. You are not the a-hole. The food was not even his, so having a tantrum because you ate one lousy bowl of ramen is wildly inappropriate and rude. He needed to move out and pay for his own stuff if he was going to be such an a-hole. Yep, that does not equate to my wife said that I was an a-hole to threaten him with being kicked out over some ramen. No, you did not threaten to kick him out over some ramen. You told him to make a choice between stopping with the disrespectful a-hole behavior or finding another place to live. She tried to placate him by saying that she would go to Costco and get some more. Good grief, your wife needs to stop coddling her adult son. He is out of college, so he is at least 22 years old. He's behaving like a 3-year-old who was being denied a lollipop. All right, hold on. The dad actually commented underneath this. Let's see what he had. 24. He is 24. I mean, y'all know what's funnier than 24, right? 25. Yeah, I'm sorry, but at 24, you should not be getting upset and like so upset that you were in a yelling match and an argument with your father over a $2 bowl of ramen when you not only live in their house for free, but the most that you're expected to do is help with errands and a few chores at 24 years old. I'm sorry, I am 26 and I have my own house. I don't own it, I rent, but my parents do not pay any of my bills. I do not judge anybody that does still live at home, especially in this economy. However, if you are going to be living in somebody else's home who pays those bills, and on top of it, you have a good paying job where you could contribute and buy your own food, and they're still buying your food, and you are going to get this upset at them over eating something that they technically paid for, and you can't let them have one bowl without flipping out, you need to get some serious help and honestly figure out how to adult, because that's not it, my guy. And if you ever want to like have a significant other in your life, you really need to evaluate this behavior, because this right here is a red flag if I've ever seen one. Yeah, I would not be adopting this grown man child anytime soon. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's girlfriend to F off? I mean, depends on what she did. Let's get into it. This is a throwaway so I don't completely embarrass myself on my personal account, because this is a little crazy. My wife and I, 39, lost our teenage son earlier this year. It's been heart-wrenching. My wife actually got fired from her job and she fell into a deep depression, as can be imagined. My brother has a girlfriend, 22, and she dabbles in the spiritual world and into all that kind of stuff. 3 nights ago, we had them over for dinner and my youngest's birthday. In front of my depressed wife and my 2 young children, 8 and 11, she says, "I can feel your son here." I say, "Excuse me?" She tells my wife that she can feel his presence here and that she just knows she can help us make contact and help us with closure. My youngest is confused, starts crying. My wife's on the verge of tears. My brother's staring at her in awe, like this is some great thing. I told her she needed to stop. That, or she could leave. She got upset and she said she was trying to help us with closure, that I don't understand. And I told her to F off and leave. My brother got angry at me and we got in an argument. They left. My wife is upset, but thinks maybe I should have listened to her. She's desperate. My brother texting me how disrespectful I was to his girlfriend, and I needed to apologize. That's not just something you say to grieving parents. Am I the a-hole? Okay, that one was a little heavy, and I am so sorry for these parents' loss. Let's read the first comment before we get into this. You, sir, have fantastic restraint and are not the a-hole. I'd have a hard time not physically throwing her and your brother out of my house if I had been in your shoes. As another person said, there is a time and place for everything, and this wasn't either one. You all are obviously still moving through the grieving process and need time to heal your souls after something as traumatic as losing a child. You have my sympathy for that, and I hope you and your family can truly heal to where it won't hurt so terribly anytime someone brings up your son in the future. It took me a few years to get there after cancer took my father at a young age. As the girlfriend is fairly young and is maybe used to people that humor her spirituality and appreciate it even, maybe she didn't realize it was inappropriate in this case. However, your brother is the real asshole for not only not stopping his girlfriend, but even defending her and arguing with you about it. My advice going forward, text your brother about the complete lack of social awareness, his girlfriend, and the trauma that it caused your family with what she said. And hold firm about not apologizing to her, nor is she welcome in your house or around your family until she can apologize to you and your family and keep her dang mouth shut. Dang, I'm angry on your behalf. Sorry, not sorry about that. So, while I am one to fully understand being a spiritual person, being somebody that has studied paganism and Wicca and stuff like that, there is definitely a time and a place for things like this, even if you are legitimately like spiritually inclined and do feel these things. And people who actually like take the time to study and practice these things do understand that there is a time and a place for this, that aren't just using this as almost like some sort of hat trick. Um, if you actually like respect these practices and do this with legitimate care in your heart, which I do believe his girlfriend did have in saying these words, and she was trying to be comforting and what have you, she did it in very much the wrong way, in my opinion. And yeah, if she can't even apologize or see where she did wrong in that, she needs to not be allowed back around them until everybody can finish grieving, or definitely until she can figure out like where she went wrong, because you can't you can't say those things to somebody that is still grieving, and you don't know how they're going to take that like at all. So, yeah. But yeah, this person really isn't in the wrong at all. I don't see where they could possibly be the a-hole for telling her to F off when she, in fact, did cross a very, very big line. Am I the a-hole? House guest acting like they are doing us a favor by being there. I, I feel like we all have a horrible, horrible house guest story. Please put yours below so I can read it and laugh later. So, my partner and I moved to a big fun city a while ago. Recently, one of our friends from where we used to live reached out and said that she was going to come visit. Although I was very busy at work, I agreed to let her come stay. We bought a really nice air mattress and put her in our second room that we use as an office. When she first got here, she started jokingly complaining about how she has to sleep on an air mattress and that we're too cheap to buy a spare bed. This was already a red flag, but we let it go. We took turns paying for the meals, and on the last day, she started going off on my partner and I while we were at dinner about how she had paid more than her fair share. This was completely insane to me because we went out of our way to let this person stay in our place, drink our alcohol, a lot of it, took time off work to show them the city, and here they were complaining about how they may have paid $50 more. And then she started saying that we were not factoring in the flight she had to take to come visit, and that she only did that because she knew we would be happy. Like, what? You're here to get away from the boring city you live in and get a cheap trip in. Don't act like you're the one doing us a favor because we don't need people visiting us. Am I being unreasonable for getting upset about this? I've been in situations where I went to a new city to visit and stayed with friends. When I did that, I showed up with gifts, paid for their dinner one night, and sent a thank you card. I sure as heck did not complain about how I had to sleep on an air mattress and the flight I took to go on vacation. I almost want to cut this person out of my life, honestly. Yeah, for this one, we're going to completely just skip the entire first comment bit just because this one actually kind of aggravates me with having some of the issues with roommates and house guests in the past that I have. We're not getting into that one now. However, you don't go to somebody's house that you're visiting and getting to stay with for free in a city that you want to go to when you're the one that said, "Hey, I'm coming to visit you," and then act like they're supposed to put you up like a five-star restaurant. I'm sorry, if I went to my friend's house, I'd be happy to sleep on the floor if that meant that I got to see them and spend time with them. You don't complain about an air mattress and actually getting your own private space. I'd be happy sleeping on the living room floor, to be honest. And I know most of you would too. That's just what it means to be a legitimate friend. You don't, go to your friend's house to be put up like you're at the Hamptons. You go to the Hamptons if you want to be put up like you're at the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? And also, you don't complain that you had to pay more for food that you ordered. You could have ordered less food. You didn't have to order all of that, and you should honestly be paying for the entire dinner since you just invited yourself to their house. At no point in this story did OP go to their friend and say, hey, we really want you to come out here, or sit there and beg them to come visit. I would get it if OP was sitting there and talking to them about, hey, I really need you out here. You need to hurry up and get on a flight because I can't stand being out here by myself. But there was none of that we are aware of. So at the end of the day, you can't get upset that they at least made sure that you weren't sleeping on a floor or a couch. You had a private place to sleep, and you didn't have to pay for a hotel. And not only that, you got to see your friend. And that's what it should really be about, not, do I get my own private swanky room with a private bed and all of this stuff. No, you at least got a private room. And to me, an air mattress is very thoughtful. So you can miss me with all of that, babes. Am I the a-hole for telling our friend that she isn't better just because she didn't get an epidural? I can already tell y'all this one's gonna be spicy, so you might want to sit back for this, because the level of audacity. My 28 female friend Sarah, 27 female, recently gave birth to her first child of 1 month. She is the youngest in our friend group and is also the last one to have a child. We were all, of course, very excited to meet both her child, but to support her during her postpartum and her journey into motherhood. So we finally got to see her this Friday, and everything was going very well. We all enjoyed meeting the group as a whole, and motherhood seemed to be finding her well. But then another friend of ours asked her about her birth experience. Sarah told us about it and mentioned that she did not receive an epidural. I was a little annoyed, as some moms seem to think that going through unnecessary, much pain is something to brag about. I did not think that Sarah was like this. So I said as a joke, cool, did they give you a medal or should we do that? She asked me what the comment was necessary for, and I told her that she knew all of us chose the epidural and shaming us for it is not a good look, and that not having an epidural isn't something to brag about. She told me it was not her intention to do so, but our friends agreed with me and told her that I was right. If her point wasn't to bring us down or to brag, she could have just avoided mentioning it. She said that she was sorry if she upset us, but that she really did not mean it in that way. It became sour, so we all decided to leave. I thought she would text us later and apologize, but instead her husband sent us a text from her number. He basically told us that Sarah was incredible during birth and would have been with or without an epidural, and that we were the ones shaming her for not having one. We did not respond, but instead created another group chat talking about it. What we all agreed on is that she, like many other moms who don't choose the epidural, didn't intentionally try to shame us, but that they often think of themselves as superior. And it was sad that Sarah, who was otherwise a very kind-hearted person, turned out to be this way. We don't believe we are assholes, but Sarah has not talked to us since, and my husband told me that if I thought it was worth ruining a 15-year friendship over it, then so be it. I would like to know if we're the a-holes here, or if Sarah is. Alright, let's just get right into that first comment for this one. Okay, yes, you're the a-hole. And how dare you think otherwise? She did nothing wrong. You wanted to be offended and found a reason to be. Some moms seem to think that going through unnecessary pain is something to brag about. She didn't brag. She was asked a question and answered it. At no point did you indicate she thought she was better than anyone else. At no point did you indicate she said anything negative about those who took the epidural. You attributed malicious intent behind her comment. You added hidden subtext to her comments so you could be upset. And now you're seeking an apology? You and your cheerleader squad of girls pumping yourselves up as the victim is absolutely ridiculous. But that they very often think of themselves as superior, and it is sad that Sarah, who is otherwise a very kind-hearted person, turned out to be this way. She didn't do anything. She told you a fact of her birthing story. She didn't say that she was better than you. She didn't pretend to be superior. She told you an actual fact that pertains to her story. You are not worthy of being this person's friend. This victim complex you're peddling is pathetic. It's sad that you turned out this way. All right, so off the bat, like, if you're going to ask a friend about their birthing story, when you have already gotten to share yours and everybody in your friend group has gotten to share theirs, and she just decided to do something different in her birthing story than you guys all did in theirs, she wasn't trying to sound superior. She was just sharing the same story that all of you have gotten to share up to this point, and thought that she was in a safe room of people to talk to about it. And you just shattered that for her and proved who you were as a friend overall. Like, if you honestly think that anybody that doesn't get the epidural looks down on you for getting the epidural, you are completely wrong. And anybody that actually looks down on people for getting an epidural, yeah, they are the a-hole. However, you are just as much of an a-hole if you were just going to assume that just because she said that she got an epidural means that she thinks she is better than you when she didn't give you any reason to think so. Like, it's giving culty, it's giving toxic, it's overall just giving controlling, and that's not a good look, bestie. It's really not. And you really may wanna look in the mirror on this one, hun, because in my opinion, you are the a-hole. Alright, that's all I have for this video. If you have any suggestion for stories that you want me to read, please link them in the comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, and always ring those bell notifications if you don't want to miss a video. Thank everyone that made it to the end of this video and watched to see who the a-hole was. Alright, bye guys!